If you guys didn't see the podcast that we had, it's posted on our social media. And it was Corey Beaver with Constant Clean and Nicole Hubbard from Hubbard's Maid Service. And then also Caitlin Langley with Maids and More. It was a good one. And we get really into deep conversation about how to treat your employees, how to get buy-in. And this topic is a really hard one to cover because it's not the easiest thing to explain. And leadership is kind of boring and it sounds kind of fluffy and it's really hard to measure. So a lot of times the topic is avoided and we'd rather go on to spreadsheets or processes that are very easy to measure and see your results on. So the first thing that what we're trying to accomplish by this is that as an owner, you want your managers to make your vision come true seamlessly, even without you there. And then step 2 is you want your managers to then in turn teach your other managers how to be leaders in the same way. And so the whole goal is that you want to be a CEO and a stakeholder in your business one day, and you're not even working in it. But how and do you get there? That is much easier said than done. And that's what we're trying to talk about today is how do you make that vision come true? And if you have any questions, please stop me, raise your hand, or interrupt. It's okay. Alrighty. So creating the buy-in. So we've got to get from the gap from what's really happening and then between an idea of that you bring home from, I was telling them earlier, everybody, it's conference season. They're in the spring. So everybody rolls out and goes to all these conferences and you come home with like a book of processes and procedures that you want to implement, or you want to do this, or you want to do that. And then your managers are sitting back at the office like, oh no, it's conference season. She went to the conference and now she's going to come back with all these crazy ideas. So getting those implemented and getting buy-in. First of all, don't throw the whole book at them when you get back. Just try to pick a couple and implement a couple at a time to not get everybody too overwhelmed. But it is your crazy ideas. You wouldn't be an entrepreneur and a business owner if you didn't have those visions. And now your job is to become the leader that you need to be to get those visions implemented, but through you, not you, through other people. So instill confidence, not control. I know there's a lot of helicopterish managers out there, and we come by it naturally because we are micromanagers because we originally started cleaning. But the one thing when you hire that manager and you're creating that position is that you really need to know the second that they sit down in that chair is that you will have their back 100% always. And that if they're going to make a mistake, and it's okay, you don't want to have somebody scared of making a mistake because then they won't make them and then they won't make the decisions that they need to. So you need to learn, they need to learn and be able to grow and not micromanage them. So set expectations clearly, encourage them to be independent and initiative, because if you have to make all of the choices for them, then you might as well be them and making the choices for them. So it's important to make sure that you're giving them independence. One trick I learned very early on is when a manager would come and say, what do I do? You would coach her to how to do it, or him how to do it, and then turn around and they have to go do it. When they have a problem, grab the problem and do it for them, because they're never going to learn and grow from it. You are now becoming a coach, not a doer, a coach. So does anybody have any questions so far? That's what I was talking about. It's like the fluff and the leadership part. We all know this, but I'm going to call you out and say that, yeah, I know you know it, but are you doing it? Are you actually doing this? And this is what it's going to take when you get those managers. And it's the most important thing to managing managers is leadership and the way that you treat them. Okay, now we're down to the technical stuff, Todd. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
I know. You don't like the fluff?
I'm not really fluffy.
I know. Sometimes when I listen to fluffy people, I go, what did they just say? I say, I don't know what to take away from that, but you just got to soak it in.
I'm listening. I was just like, okay, now I know you're going to tell me what I want to know in a minute.
Okay. So build the right management structure. So where do you start in the mess of all this? Because if I had everybody comment earlier when they first joined the room, and I know that some of us came in late. So if you want to throw in the comments how many managers you have like currently in your company. So if there's 2 of you running it, one of you, 10 of you, however many management people you have working for you. The first thing you need to do is develop a hierarchy. This is funny. How do you have
3.
Home sweet homes? Y'all have 3. That's awesome. Okay, cool. I'm going to speak directly to y'all as far as where you are at in your hierarchy. So a hierarchy, that sounds kind of like a weird term to use, or kind of I like to say that everyone is a team member and nobody's really above anybody, but that is, I would be lying if I said that's really how it goes. Somebody has got to have somebody upstairs to answer to. And if me currently had 17 managers coming to me to answer to me, I would pull my hair out and I would probably leave and go drink beer with Todd. But so you need people below you to kind of get that done. So I'm going to share with you guys my hierarchy. And I think hierarchies look different. I think have your 5-year hierarchy. Like if you want to get to $6 million, and what does that hierarchy look like? You need to know what it looks like before you start your growth path. So you can grow into that hierarchy. And then what does it look like now? What does it look like in 6 months? What does it look like a year? You're always evolving this structure and the hierarchy. So here is Maids and Moors. This is, we have over 17 managers and 140-ish, 43 cleaners. So this is currently our structure. Obviously, like we're pretty down here, like this right here. I'm going to use my mouse. This is Austin. Oops. I didn't find my pen. Where's my pen? Can't find that thing. This right here is Austin. And this over here is Houston. So not only is it 17 managers, but it does have 2 different branches. So in each branch, there's a general manager. And then under each GM, there's a customer service specialist, customer service cleaning support. So we call it cleaner support, where they're assisting the cleaners as well as the customers. So a lot of times that role can be combined. And then we have an HR support manager, and then a quality control manager, who is then even over another quality control person that we have out in the field. Same thing in Houston. So when you first start, like 1.7, I'm going to use Todd as an example. Him and Pam are right here, or Pam's right here. She's the chief and Todd is underneath her. And then Todd is doing the roles of all 4 of these people right now, all at once. And so when Todd gets overwhelmed, his checklist is going to get really, really big, and I can't do all this in one day. I don't have enough time. We're going to start extracting things from his checklist to create another position on his checklist to be able to be like, okay, he's got way too many. So we need somebody to help with quality control. We need somebody to help with hiring, and then boom, a new position is born. So I kind of called this on our next slide. Here is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So this is kind of phase 1. Phase 2 starts to come into getting some more layering going on in your hierarchy. And then phase 3 is when you get to managers managing managers. So you have a hierarchy above the GM. One thing I wanted to point out, whoops, I went the wrong way. If you notice, a key takeaway here is that in this model, the sales is completely separate of operations. So you have your sales that is over here that does not do anything with operations. That was the first way that Maids and More was able to scale faster and bigger and quicker than anybody else, is because I wanted that designated salesperson to be focused solely on selling only, not on operations. Because we were talking about personality tests. I think some of you came in right at the personality test thing. A salesperson needs to do sales things, and they're not good at operations things, and they get distracted. So if you want somebody to be really, really good at something, and sales is the most important part of your entire, it's the driving force to all growth. You want to have a designated salesperson that has that personality that is selling. Then eventually that one salesperson can eventually grow into the manager and have multiple salespeople underneath her. So sales being separate. We went over phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then what happens when you don't already have this structure and vision in place? And Maybe maybe you're already there to where you're like everybody's mixed up. Like everybody's doing different roles, everybody's all over the place and it's a zoo in here and I can't get it organized and she's answering the phones, she's booking cleaning, she's calling a maid and it's like a 100% zoo and nobody has specific tasks and roles and responsibilities. It is time to get your structure straight. So I know I spent a whole lot of time on structure. Does anybody have any questions on structure? You can interrupt me if you want.
No questions because you already know we're not doing it. So it's all good.
Why are you not doing it?
Well, I mean, because there's not enough people to not do it. Like I'm in sales, I'm in HR, I'm in answering questions, I'm in asking questions. I'm in it all right now, just like Pam. I am doing a lot more than I was doing. But like with the sales, I love just doing that. But we don't have people, so we can't schedule anything. So it's hard to sell anything. So I'm interviewing people too. So eventually you can see where it's going. We just don't have the people to do it yet. But Cheyenne was on the call earlier. That's going to be part of the solution.
Oh, cool. Yes. Okay, that was Cheyenne.
We're working on that. We're getting there.
Gotcha. Well, that's part of what we're going to get into next Thursday is how do you get there quicker?
I was just going to drink more and keep going, but okay.
Nope. You're going to get there. You already went to phase 1. You just hired a new person to take some over those spillovers of those checklists that you and Pam are having. And that's what Cheyenne is here for, is to get that spillover of those checklists. And then eventually her checklist is going to get bigger and then her checklist will spill over. And then you'll need another role and another task. And then all of a sudden you will have a hierarchy. So knowing now you got to know when to hire. So that's just what I was talking about. Checklists are like probably the biggest. Everybody has a checklist that they go on every day. And when they can't get that checklist done at the end of the day, then they need to clear some clutter off of their checklist so that they have time to get that done. So the first thing I've got Todd over here and he's so completely overwhelmed and he needs to get rid of some things off of his checklist. Before I just go, oh, we need another manager. I don't know if some of you've noticed, but I noticed in the cleaning industry, some of us have like 10 cleaners or maybe even 20 cleaners and you have like 5 managers. It shouldn't take 5 managers to manage 20 cleaners. So I think we can get lopsided on this. So make sure you're not manager rich. And the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, okay, Todd's checklist is too much. He needs to eliminate these 5 things and give it to somebody else. First question is, can you eliminate it by technology? Is there some kind of technology that I can adapt to that will eliminate this task or automate it? Second is, can I delegate it to a current staff member? Maybe it's just 3 people in the office and maybe we just need to shift the roles and responsibilities around a little bit to even them out so that everybody is capable of doing that checklist. And third, what are on the checklist? What can be outsourced? So if you have somebody logging QuickBooks daily, like maybe it would be worth it to hire a bookkeeper and get that off of your plate rather than to do it yourself. So ask yourself those 3. And then if those 3 questions cannot be answered, you can't solve it that way. Now you know that it is time to hire. And this is the most important part. When you're going to go ahead and hire, a lot of us hesitate hiring because you're like, I only have like 6 things. I don't really need another manager. It's like I just need somebody part-time. Instead of hiring somebody part-time, it is more useful to take some more things off of a person's checklist and give them 2 or 3 hours of free time and load the new person's checklist up. It's because your upper management that's been there a while or somebody that is capable of doing higher level thinking, now they have 2 or 3 hours free in their day. What can a higher level manager thinker do in 2 or 3 hours to generate you more revenue? So instead of kind of trying to piecemeal little pieces together, go ahead and jump out and hire that other manager, free the higher level, more senior person up. And let's put tasks on there or goals or those projects that we can't get to that we brought back from the conference, put that on that person's checklist. And so that way we're growing, always growing. Number 3 is you're building your avatar based on your checklist. So we have our structure, then hold on one second. I'm like, I lost my thought. Okay, now we know when to hire. So we've built our structure. Now we can see that our checklists are overflooding and that we need to hire. So now you pretty much are building your checklist as you're trying already. You already know what this person needs to do. So you're actually going out and hiring a role where you already know what they're going to be doing, not just a warm body, not like, we need somebody, I'm just going to throw a job ad up and then they're going to ask me what you're going to be doing. And I'm going to say, you're going to be doing a little bit of everything, basically, everything. We don't know. We don't even know what we need yet. We're just too busy and we need help. So that's not a good strategy. Your strategy should already have a set checklist, know exactly what you're hiring for, whether you're hiring sales, operations, onboarding. That person in the job ad wants to know what they're going to be doing. So you already have the checklist. You're not hiring a warm body and you're ready. And then you can clearly define their qualities, responsibilities, and outcomes that you're looking for. So you've essentially created an avatar for that position. It's like this person exists, you just haven't found them yet, but you know exactly what they should act like, what their skill set should be, and what exactly you're hiring for. And this may be, avatars don't have to be like completely doing one thing. Like one time I was really in between hiring, I needed a customer service person, but I also needed somebody for billing. There are avatars that you can combine, and sometimes you have to combine an avatar, and that's okay too, but at least you have a clear understanding of what the avatar looks like. So you have created the avatar, you have attracted and hired the right, and now we have to go out and find the manager. So finding the manager and what do I do? So there's 3 steps that hold on one second. Okay. I use 3 different strategies, and I think 1 works best for me, then 2, and then 3. Maybe 3 and then 2 and then 1 for you, whatever it is. But I have 3 different strategies in which I go out and find them. So I have my ad with my awesome avatar, my person. I know exactly how much I'm going to pay them. And then the first thing I do is options is I promote from within. I go look at those cleaners, and I think y'all came in on the last minute question earlier about how do you convince that meek little mild person out in the field that they have potential to come into the office and work, because you see that they have leadership skills, they're professional, all the things that you're looking for. So it is important that you're looking down and trying to see who here already knows, one, they already know cleaning and they have some of the qualities that I'm looking for, and then promote from within them. If they're missing some stuff, like maybe you're not sure about their technical skills, you can teach that. Or maybe you're not sure about other skills. I mean, you can teach leadership skills, you can teach technical skills, you can definitely teach task management. So look from within and try to really promote your people from within. It's so much easier to start with somebody who already know exactly the processes and procedures and exactly what's going on. Number 2 is we post an organic ad from the company ourselves and share it out on social media. So all of our current managers, all of our employees are sharing this ad. It's always been beneficial for us because maybe we knew somebody from high school that would be really great, and we already have a relationship with them, and it's not completely from the outside. So, and it's directly from the company. If somebody sees an ad directly from the company that we're hiring, and it's directly from your company versus a random website somewhere doing something, or clicking a button, they're more likely going to show up to the interview. They're more likely going to feel like they have a connection and they've gotten a referral because they've seen this ad and it's directly from your company. So that's option 2. And then obviously option 3 always works as well, except for now, because you've followed step 1, 2, 3, 4, you have this beautiful avatar that you can give Libby DeLucian with Wheat Recruit, or Sean Day with Hire Lead Chill. You can give them your avatar, the checklist that you're hiring for, and they'll just start sending you available candidates. So I know a lot of us start with 3, but I just wanted to make sure y'all knew about 1 and 2 options as well. There will be a quiz at the end of this, Todd. everybody, you're getting quizzed. Step 5, leadership and vision and setting the tone. So we just went through all of those 4 steps to get them. Now we finally found them, and it's our time to keep them and start really building our management team. So the very first thing you need to start out with is directly. Don't just shove somebody in there and go, hey, you're just going to go shadow for a couple days. I'm out of town. I'll be there in like 3 weeks. You need to make sure on the very first day, the very first time they start, and if you have to delay their start, that's okay, that you meet them, you share the vision, you make sure that from day one that they know the purpose of Maids and More, and or your company or whoever you're working for, that they know that. And so some of you don't have a company vision, so we need to get that company vision. Example of one of ours is to be the highest quality cleaning service in Austin and Houston with the happiest customers and the happiest employees. Every time you make a decision with that, if it doesn't meet your mission, like I have a problem, I need the windows tinted. Well, is that really going to make, or I'm just coming up with something like, I really hate my stapler. Is that going to go to our vision of being the highest quality service? I mean, yeah, it might make one employee a little happy, but is it going to make all of us happy? So make sure all your decisions are being based off of that vision. And if you have a manager who is constantly going off course and not keeping that vision in mind, then it might be time. But this is also what I always try to tell people is, and which hurts. It hurts a lot, but the very first reaction as a leader before you let someone go is to go stand in front of the mirror. Like 90% of the time, it's our fault as a leader that we're not leading them in the correct direction. Was it my fault? What could I have done better? Did I not explain my vision? Did I not set the tone? Was I not encouraging? Was I not there just making sure that they had everything they need? And if the answer is yes, that you were, and you can honestly answer that, and you can say, yes, I was, then yes, it is not, they are obviously not on the path. Right. So leadership is about casting a vision, you're building your trust, and you're walking alongside with them and not staring down upon them. Nobody wants to feel like that. They want to feel like they're part of the team and that we're all leading and on the same mission and working together and not being micromanaged for sure. Okay, I'm almost to the part of questions, so let's wrap it up. I know that was a really short one. Next week, on next Thursday, what we're going to get into is the serious, like I'm going to take you through, okay, now I have my team, and say I've hired 4 or 5 already, and now I need to have a goal setting session, how to break those sessions down into tasks, how to assign the tasks, and how to get all of these accomplished. So step 1 through 6, I go through constantly. You're just going to repeat until you get to a hierarchy that's more closer to your 10-year vision of what your hierarchy is. Every one of these people, I had to go step 1 through 6 and then start over again and start over again 17 times in a row. And then I probably did that more than that on the people that didn't work out. So what is your key takeaway? And Tammy, I'm going to pick on you first. I know you didn't stay the whole time. So
yeah, I joined late, but this is actually one of the problems that we have right now. We don't know if we need to do a reseat or what. We've got a tough decision, and we have to accept, that's what I was telling Sandra this morning, accept accountability that we enabled them to take us down this path, and allowing them to have control over some of the things that they're doing instead of owning, the company and owning the decision to do the hard things. So now we have to
undo what you did.
Undo what I did.
I'm pretty sure I did that for the first 6 years, and I had to undo everything I did. Actually, a couple of my managers, that when I finally stepped back and I would try to come back in, they're like, you get out of here, you spoil them rotten, get out of here. And I'm like, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I think it's harder because the further along they are with you, the years, then it's the personal gets involved. You have to take the emotion.
Exactly. But keep empowering them. I think it's funny because I think as owners that we think we can't replace ourselves, or that nobody else can do it the way we can. And the reality is that somebody else can do it a whole lot better, because they don't have that emotion and they don't have the worries and anxieties that we kind of have in the back of our heads. versus, and they're able to do a job much more subjectively and effectively.
Yeah, it's hard for me to build trust.
I know.
Amen.
You know what? Everybody deserves trust, and they'll get it 100% right up front. Until they give you a reason to take it away, there's no reason not to trust them. But I know that that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But you get to break my trust maybe once, twice, not the third time.
Yeah, I have a hard time with when you implement new things, micromanaging it and not giving them the opportunity to do it. I don't think so, because some stuff I don't think they're doing in a timely manner.
Yeah. Micromanaging is one of the hardest ones to let go, mainly because you're like, you see them about to like make a mistake and you just want to come in and fix it really quick. But sometimes you almost have to let them fall and help them back up, and they learn a whole lot more. And then sometimes it's at your company expense a little bit, but you kind of just have to go through it. Every time there's a mistake, every time somebody makes a mistake, it's an opportunity to improve and to learn and to coach. It's hard. Todd, what was your takeaway?
I got a couple. One, sorry, I'm echoing on Pam's phone over here. She sat down close to me, and I'm like, well,
okay.
Problems I haven't had that much to drink yet. I love that sales is separate because right now it's not. And you try to focus on something that I'm worried about scheduling. I'm worried about overwhelming her. I'm worried about, do I just sell it? Do I not? I need to concentrate on hiring people. I don't want to sell yet. Going through all that, but separating things out and really doing stuff is going to be viable. And I think with something the last lady just said, like it's hard to trust people. I fall into I trust people too much too soon. Like I meet you and I trust you wholeheartedly, and like up until I'm still crossing my fingers with Cheyenne, but up until then, I mean, every time I trust somebody, they like either kick me in the shin or punch me in the back of the neck. And I'm trying to learn the difference of trusting somebody wholeheartedly and trusting somebody with the task I've laid forward for them, if that makes sense. There's different amounts of trust, and I've just been giving them too much and like almost free reign. Like, I asked you to do this, I just assume you're going to do it. I don't micromanage it, but then I don't go back and check it often enough either to make sure that they are doing it. So I have to find that, I guess it's a happy medium in that, to where I am checking what I've told you to do, but I'm not micromanaging the fact I told you to do it.
I get y'all on the micromanaging part. We actually, I probably need to have like a checklist workshop. So we implement checklists that everybody has a checklist. And then the final checklist, the final thing on their checklist is to complete their checklist daily. And I check them daily, like somebody's looking at them, and every time that they don't fill, it's a shared doc, right? So you can check it from your like, hey, she didn't fill out her checklist. I'm assuming she didn't do her job. And she immediately gets a concern form. And you don't avoid the problems. If something's bothering you, like I think a lot of times we think we're going to hurt their feelings and be like, hey, Roxy, you did not fill out your checklist today, which tells me as the owner that I need to start freaking out and having an anxiety attack because I don't know that anything got done yesterday. And so your write-up is because you didn't fill out your checklist. Here's your concern form. If that happens, if the same thing keeps happening and she is not doing it, and then tomorrow she doesn't do her checklist and you already issued her a concern form, you'd be like, okay, one more time. This is your job. And as a leader, you are going to do this. And if you don't want to do this, then I can't lead you or provide you with an opportunity for growth and a great, happy place to work. I'm simply asking you to fill out your checklist and do the items on your checklist every day. So I will leave you alone and I won't hover you. And so I have had a person that I actually do that daily. Like it's a metrics that we measure weekly is how many people didn't fill out their checklist.
And the other thing I kind of had a concern with, which I agree with it wholeheartedly, the promoting from within. If I promote a cleaner right now, I have a bunch of people that want to work in the office, but nobody wants to clean right now. So I cannot hire a cleaner and promote them out of cleaning, because then I'm even further below in the cleaning aspect. I mean, I understand it. I love promoting from within. I believe in that wholeheartedly, because if you're going to sell it and you've already done it, you don't have to look at a piece of paper. You feel what you do. You know what you do. You want to correct somebody on what they're doing in the field, you did it all. You know what to talk to them about. However, I have 1,000,001 people that want to work in the office and 0.0008 people that want to work in the field right now.
Okay. So the person that gets the job that's currently in the field is the person that can replace herself with another qualified cleaner, get them trained so she can move up and replace herself. And then her other job is to find more cleaners. And before you know it, she'll be off to the races and you have your manager and she's already replaced herself and replaced her with, that's her first task, is to hire 5 more people. And who better to hire somebody in the field than somebody that just came out of the field?
I agree with that. Like Cheyenne did not come out of the field. She came somewhere else, but
well, that's okay. And some people do. You don't have to. It's just a really good, viable option that a lot of people overlook.
I love the thought of, and I would love to promote from within. We've tried it before. It's kicked us in the shin, but it's okay. We recovered from that. It's a little bruise. Yeah. And I want to do that in the future. And I have some people that I think are fully capable of doing it. But the other question is they want to do it, but how do you convince them to make less money to work in an office and not clean? Because they do make less money.
And you got to pay more for the office job.
I don't have more to pay yet.
I know. I got what you're saying. I had that same struggle. And I think what you need to do is point out the benefits of working in the office. Like, it's easier on your body. You're going to get to sharpen your professional skills. It's adding to your resume. It's giving you work experience that is going to add to your resume that, yes, you have been in administration and you have been in management. So most of the time you can get over that, and then also say, and in 3 months, if we hit this KPI and we've increased ourselves by this number and our profits are here, then I'm going to go ahead and bump you up to this. Like, always do a 90-day free trial. I know what you're saying though. Taking that person out of the field when they have a set schedule and they're your best cleaner and you're like, how am I going to replace her? Challenge her to replace herself. Let's see. Pam, what was your favorite takeaway?
I got to take her a minute to figure out how to get her phone off mute.
She's still working on it. Is one of your managers in here with you, Tammy? It just says home sweet home.
It's me. Yeah, it's me, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. What was your key takeaway?
So mine is the hierarchy and like setting up your 10-year hierarchy. Because like right now we have the right now one, and basically like what you said is everybody's overwhelmed with tasks. Because like Tammy always tells me, like, we need to hire somebody, but it's generally a tech. But that makes sense. Like, we're all overwhelmed with tasks right now and doing things that, some of us don't want to do. And now we're having to, face hard decisions, kind of like what she said, because we've allowed certain things just to kind of happen. So just basically, getting our structures in place and, knowing what we want and not bowing down to anybody. Not necessarily that we're bowing down, but just kind of because of the chaos of it all.
You're in Texas, right? So I can say just,
yes, ma'am.
You got to stick to your guns. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Perfect. I think the session next Thursday that we're going to go on is we're going to dive deep into goal. Remember, I said the number one the last thing is when you get that manager, you have to have these, I call them strategic planning sessions. And doing a strategic planning session helps you just take everything that you just said. We're going to write it all down. Okay, now how do we get all of these problems fixed all at once? And you list all of your problems. And if we're going to do it once a quarter, I'm going to pick 3 of the biggest ones. And then we're going to take those goals. We're going to make them smart. Then we're going to break them down into tasks. Like, one goal may have 15 tasks underneath it. And then we're going to assign those tasks to certain people. And then we're going to get them done in a certain time frame. And then you're going to go through that process over and over again. And you're going to keep reaching up and grabbing more problems, breaking them down, reassigning them. Grab another problem. Like, before you know it, you reach up to grab more problems and you're like, oh, they're all gone. Let's create some new ones. What else do we not like? And then you're writing down more problems. And then you're taking those goals. And so when I taught the managers the strategic planning process of how to get all your problems down and how to conquer them, and then how to get some real change in effect, Like not just say it, but like do it. How do you do it? Whenever I got that done, and that's what I'm excited about showing y'all next week is that strategic planning process. Because now I like laugh. I walk in the office and Caitlin's like, we're in a planning session. I'm like, oh, okay, I won't bother y'all because I know what they're doing. Problems and fixes and help. And it's really important to also, after you break those goals down, to have those measurable KPIs and how are we going to do that? And how are we going to stick to it and hold everybody accountable? Main person being yourself at first. And then until you can get those managers that are managing the other managers, now you can kind of let them handle the strategic planning process. So next week, y'all get to hear me yap some more at 12 o'clock. Don't be late this time because I don't know if I can do this twice.
I was driving to go camping. It's our first.
It's Memorial Day. I wouldn't blame you. Would not blame you.
Look at the view.
That's awesome. That looks beautiful. Thank you. So I'm just turning off the recording. I'm just going to do this for recording purposes, but thank you so much for coming. We'll see y'all next Thursday on the 29th, where we're covering strategic planning and goal setting, and then also implementation and how to measure the success of those strategies and KPIs to do so. So I will see y'all next Thursday at noon Central Time.